out uh, uh, Skype, Skype. I couldn't
All
think of the
right.
name. So you're my guinea pig here doing a recording, and I'm trying to read what the screen is saying and focus on what I want to talk about. So I need to let everybody know that you are being recorded for privacy info. You can check that out. And I will be publishing this on my Pajama Granny YouTube site. And just welcome, Kelly. And
Thank
it's the end of
you.
the year. And I just wanted to, since you started the year with me, I thought I would end the year and bring us into the next year. So Pajama Granny is almost 2 years old. She'll be 2 years
Yay.
old in April of 2025.
Mm.
My YouTube channel, and she started in that room that I see that you're in right now.
Yep, right
So
over here. Pajama
that
Granny's
bed,
original studio.
yeah. So that's great. I appreciate you and you letting me use your room for my recordings. And over the year, you have seen
Anytime.
my recordings have gone from that room to my office to outside the parks, the beach, my
Yeah.
car, which I'm in right now. I'm officeless right now, so the car is my office. But to me, that's encouraging for others that want to start a YouTube channel or meet with people. Do it anywhere. I don't have fancy equipment. You see, I don't have that microphone in front of me. You don't have
Right.
one in front of you.
Right.
It's my phone. It's just my phone. And I started this on a budget and I'm continuing on a budget and going slow and it just hoping that my channel builds and builds and builds and I reach all those women that need to get fit and fueled and have a good mindset. I'm trying to start the new year with being around positive people. I want to be a positive influence to people. I want to
Mhm.
have friends and family that are positive, that bring that back to me. And that's kind of what I want to share on
Oh,
my channel also, that getting fit and fueled is the I the main goal. Because if you're healthy, you feel better, but you also have to have those people around you that are positive in what you're doing and that you're positive in what they're doing because we're all at different levels
mhm.
and we need to meet each other at those different levels. But when I run across somebody that's holding a grudge or bitter or angry, if I can't encourage them enough to get out of that, I'm not so sure if I'm being selfish when I say I don't want to be around them. That's their life. And if that's how they want to live, and I can't, and the main thing is pray. I mean, pray
Amen.
about that person or those people um, that they can somehow get out of their bitterness and live a better life. So it's like better over bitterness or bitterness
Yes.
over better. I don't
Better.
know.
You got it. You got it. Better over bitter. That's wonderful, Deb. What a great way to live, and to think. Yes. That makes me think of
Okay.
a Bible verse. I have it on
Oh,
my phone. I just got to look at it here real quick. This is one I always wanted to memorize, and I haven't yet, but maybe in 2025 we can both memorize it. It's
that'll be
from
a goal.
yeah, it's from Philippians 4:8, and it says, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things." That's how I want to live too. That,
Amen.
I just think that
Wow.
that's like a cure for bitterness. Don't you think? I think it's a cure
Sure.
for bitterness. Um, yeah,
Well, and the way the world is today, I mean, we can get into politics and religion as much as you want. People say, oh, we don't talk about religion or politics. Well, it's not religion, it's a relationship for me
right.
and to the Heavenly Father. And religion, I mean, politics, it's like we all quit talking about it because we're offending people and they get bitter and angry at us. But
Mhm.
yet, religion and politics run this world. And I'm not trying to make this site into those, but the way the world is going right now and depression so heavily out there, I think it starts with bitterness.
Mhm.
And you get bitter, and then people don't want to be around you because you are bitter.
Right.
And I don't want to exclude those people. I want to walk with them, learn why they're bitter, how they became bitter, and maybe no one's ever told them, do you realize you're bitter? Do you
Mhm.
realize every time we get together, you say this, this, and this, and it's all the same stuff all the time? And I'm not a counselor, so I'm not saying I'm going out and
Right.
want to counsel people or tell people what to do or not do. But if they're my friend or family and I can't talk to them, then they're not my friends. And well, they'll always be my family, but
Right.
um, maybe I can find
Excuse me.
some other person that can be their friend and encourage them a different way than I can. But and talking about politics, yeah, it's hard, and you don't have to point fingers, uh, but just go back to the truth. What
Right.
is the Constitution telling us?
Right.
That's where it started from. So I don't know. Um, just trying to be an encourager.
Right. That's right. Yes.
And
I
find
love
people
that.
that can encourage me, because yes, I have those days where I don't want to get up and do my 2 minute, and I
Mhm.
just think, well, I have people watching my channel, I need to do this fit too because I want them to do it, and
Right.
I feel better after I do it. And if I miss my shake, I don't have a good day, I feel mentally.
Okay.
So because that's my breakfast, it's
Right.
just a habit. That's what you do.
Right. And you're fueling your body and,
The
and
way it
then
needs to be.
your faith fuels your mind, which I think is, really awesome. And it definitely gives us a better perspective on life and dealing with everybody, from work to family to our neighbor, etc. Um,
Right.
healthy body, healthy mind, for sure. So,
Yep.
some you brought up a lot of good points, and it like makes me think of a lot of different things that I personally have been exposed to. And years ago, I used to listen to this gentleman on the radio, and he would disagree with people, but he would say, we can disagree agreeably. We don't have to be
Oh,
enemies just because we disagree. We don't have to let it go to the next level of disliking each other, being enemies, whatever. I always had that in the back of my mind. I thought that's kind of a good way to look at it,
it is.
especially during the holidays when, yes, you're
Mhm.
dealing with, say, family members that you don't agree with, and you kind
And
of
you only see
directly,
them once a year, and it's like,
yeah,
why?
yeah, yeah. Why make it harder on yourself? Just,
I know.
disagree agreeably. It's okay. Talk
Right.
about things that are, something you have in common with them. Family members, we always have some kind of common ground with them. Where maybe we're raised in the same home, or, if they're an uncle or aunt or whatever. they're still family. You've got something in common with them. There's a lady, I get such a kick out of her. Her name is Pam, and I've mentioned this to you before. She just recently put out one of those short little videos, and she said something about, are you invited, or are you invited but because the people want you there, or are you invited and they just tolerate you? The
And
way she
this Pam has a YouTube channel, right?
Yes, and
What
go ahead.
do you know what her channel is?
So she's got a couple of different ones.
Oh,
One
okay.
of them is like Pam's POV, V as in Victor, and it stands for Pam's point of view. Those are
Oh,
her
okay.
little short videos that she does, and they're usually very good and they're like helpful tips. But this particular one was on, dealing with being invited but not really being invited. You get the invitation, but they don't really want you there. They're just tolerating you. Or you might be that person who invites the other person to come. You don't really want them there. You're just tolerating them. I mean, it works both ways. But I kind of giggled when I watched that video. It's very poignant and it's very truthful. It's also very kind of sad at the same time because your attitude, my attitude, I mean, I'm speaking from
Right.
myself. Um, it's a choice. How do you want to be with these, say, difficult people? Um, it's like you gotta put aside the negativity and look for the positive, look for the good. That saying, look for the good and praise it. I think there's some truth to that. Find what's good and look at that instead of always focusing on just the negative or the bad stuff.
Right.
So, but yeah, that was something that that I just saw recently that I got a kick out of.
That's good
Uh,
for the holidays because
I think I think so, and I think
I'm
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say I think it's important to kind of self reflect too. Like, am I that person nobody wants to be around? And why
Right.
is that? Why is that? How come nobody really talks to me? Maybe it's you're just being crabby. Are you that crabby person that nobody wants to be
Right.
around? And how
Right.
can you change that? Maybe you can change it with a smile. Start with a
Right.
smile. Um, do for somebody. I don't know. But I would say, because I'm a person of faith too, I would say pray about it and
Right.
go to God's word and look for verses that will help you um, be a good, positive thinking person instead of all the rah, 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 all the time. I do this. I I do this behind my breath with certain people who are snarky. I do the wah 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 wah. It's the teacher from Charlie Brown. That's what I'm
Oh,
doing. And when somebody is just like really a handful, I will turn around and walk the other way, and I'll be like wah wah wah. And it's just my way of like going, instead of saying something snarky right back, it's better to just let it go and look on the bright side and not pay back snarky for snarky. Does that make sense?
yes. And I think that's how most of us are designed, that's what we do, and it's harder to be the person to walk away and be the Charlie Brown teacher, because you feel like they won, or at least that's how I feel. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, they won. They got the last remark at me. It hurt.
Hmm.
They know it hurt.
Hmm.
And I walked away. But then it's like, hopefully they'll get it eventually, that I walked away because I'm the better person. I
Right.
didn't add to the fuel. And Pastor Logan, he's one of the churches, since I'm traveling per se, that I go
Right.
to. He made a comment one time that um, are you complaining about something? Did you ever stop and pray about it? So it was like, stop complaining about something or someone unless you're praying about it. And that really stuck with me, because it's
Yeah.
like, how many times have I complained about somebody or a situation instead of stopping and just praying?
Right.
And even when you're at a function, if somebody's snarky, you turn around, you do your Charlie Brown, but you also pray that
Yeah.
that
And I
person.
really shouldn't do the Charlie Brown. Like that's a bad attitude right there, right? But
But that's human. That's
I
just our human side,
yeah,
you
and
know.
I think it's kind of like it's an outlet for me. Just it's kind of like counting to 10, before you speak, that sort of
Right.
thing. It's like I just tend to do that little sound
Right.
because it kind of releases like, that little
What you
irkness type
wanted to
thing.
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're a very nice, calm, gentle person, to where I'm just the opposite. I'll instantly snap back at somebody or get in their face and tell them. Now, the older I get, the easier it's getting for me to just let it go. So,
Good.
it's
Excellent.
not just getting older, it's praying about it. And
Hmm.
y- you know but yeah, I can see where, like, people walk all over you because you are gentle, kind, and don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So I feel like people like you get it
Yeah.
more, and then when it finally gets to you, it's you know time for Charlie Brown. So
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's
uh,
it's true. I kind of have my limit. Like I know my limit for putting up with stuff like that from other people is probably at a higher threshold than some people. So I can take it and take it, and then finally I either push back or I walk away, and not go back to that person.
right.
Um, but and I've had moments in my life that I'm not proud of where I have definitely, blasted somebody verbally because they made me so mad and I put up with so much. Um, and then you feel terrible, I definitely
Right.
felt terrible. And it's like, well, I told them the truth, but
Yeah.
still, it's like, well, yeah, but it's like Moses. I was going through a Bible study and God originally he wanted Moses to strike the rock so that the
Mm,
water would come out of the rock. Well, towards the end of this time, the people were grumbling and stuff and God said to Moses, "Speak to the rock." This time it wasn't to strike the rock, it was to speak, and then the water would flow from the rock. Well, Moses was so frustrated with the people that he struck that rock and the water came forth, but that is what caused him to not be able to enter into the promised land. He misrepresented the Lord. And I know there were times when I would just, definitely blast somebody and then I felt terrible because it's like, I don't think the Lord would want me to behave like that and say that and stuff. So I definitely had to do some repenting and and all of that. But I hope I want to have patience for people. I want to have grace for people. But yeah, there's a point where it's like, are they taking advantage of you?
mhm.
What is that balance to be able to let them know, hey, this is not good. You are in the wrong and you need to, stop trying to be manipulative or, Why are you angry at me? I'm trying to help you, things like
Right.
that. There's just a balance. And you're right with your pastor's advice, pray. Just go to
Mm-hmm.
prayer and
And
just go ahead
everybody's
and
different. And
practice.
I think that's the hard part too. You have to know the person and their personality to be able to approach them.
Right.
And I look at it like raising kids. You may have four, five, six kids. They're all different. They all need to be disciplined differently. They all
Hmm.
need to be taught how to tie their shoes differently or how to read differently. And
Yeah.
our friends and family are the same way.
Hmm.
So, not being a counselor, just coming to them as a friend, it's like, okay, I feel we're really good friends. And this is what, is negative that is, I don't know, you don't want to, it's hard because they'll take offensive. You want to,
Right.
how do you word it? Like, you're negative and it's affecting me. We're like turning it around. It's like, when I'm with you and you're this way, this is how it affects me. So I
Hmm.
don't know if you bring it back on yourself and not them. And that way they don't get too over offensive over it, or, and who knows, they, can, and they can end the friendship. But then I think,
Right.
well, it wasn't meant to be, and that's
Right.
how God wanted it to end.
Right.
Um, so
Yeah.
it's hard to treat people all differently for their personalities, and that
Hmm.
to me puts a lot on us. That's stressful for us, in the world,
Right.
trying to help people. We're thinking we're doing the right thing and we're actually doing more harm because that's not how what triggers in their brain. So
Hmm.
it's an interesting, God made the human brain and body very difficult for us, I
Yeah.
guess. So, but yeah, I just
Uh,
wanted to be a positive influence the best I can on anybody and everybody that I'm reaching on my
well,
channel. And I want them to stay fit and fueled for their 2025 year. And I don't know if people make uh New Year's resolutions, if they stay to them. They say people by the end of January don't. That's not what this is all about. It's
right.
a lifetime thing. Now I've been able to uh maintain my weight as at a
Awesome.
slow weight loss throughout the year and keeping up with my fit. I still don't have my six pack abs. That's put off to 2025 too. I'll continue to work that.
I don't feel so
But
bad.
yeah, and I heard or I saw it on the wall of a gym, and I know I've said it on my site before. It's train your mind and your body will follow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that works, I think, with bitterness with people. They just got to retrain their mind. And if you're that person that can help them do that,
Yeah.
uh, that's a blessing. And but yeah, it's like get the bitterness out of the world and out of your mind, and because it
Mm.
affects your body. Look at all the
Oh, yeah.
people that are
Oh,
unhealthy and look at their mental attitude. They're
yeah.
usually negative, they're bitter,
Yeah.
they you know
Yeah.
they're just so focused on that their health is
Hmm.
just falling and falling and falling, and they don't get it.
Right.
So I'm hoping my channel will get their brain going healthy and happy, and they'll feel good about themselves, because that's the thing too. We don't like ourselves. So how can we like, other people?
Mm-hmm. True. Good.
So
Yeah. Good points.
yeah,
Wow. Lot to think
depression
about.
is so heavy, and uh God says love your neighbor like you, and I always say people don't love themselves.
Yeah.
They don't like themselves, and so they throw that off into the bitterness. And so anyways, ladies,
Oh. Well, very cool. I love that. I
Merry
love
Christmas to everyone.
Merry
And
Christmas.
yeah, hoping to do more podcast with not you, just sister, although
Yep.
it's fun to do them with you.
Right.
Uh, but
Thanks.
with other people too, and other entrepreneurs and YouTube people that are out there. And I hope to get better at my live chats, my live YouTubes. I will try to start those back up again and get lots of podcasts out there. Not that I'm perfect and know everything, but just to have fun, keep it light, let people have something to look at, maybe why they're getting their fit on or cooking or, anything like that, just to stay connected with people. And who knows, we might be that person to get them out of their bitterness. You
Right.
never know. It takes all kinds. So, yeah. So,
Very
thanks for
cool.
being with Pajama Janny, Pajama Granny
Well,
and
thanks for
her
the invite.
sister. Yeah. So hope to do lots of podcasts with you, sister, and
Yes.
anybody who wants to join our podcast, let us know. We
Yes,
can add them to it, and
for
I
sure.
will continue with Skype for my podcast as long as I can figure out how to maneuver it.
It's
So
a work in progress, so
there you go.
it'll
That's
be
right.
it'll be cool to see how it all, evolves over time.
Right. Right. And
It's
thanks for
all
your
good.
Bible verse. That's I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
uh
I
post that
love.
one. That's it. If you post them over
I will.
places, then you read them and try to memorize them. So
Right, and I'll
that
post it in the when you put the video out there. We'll post it in your description too.
oh
Yeah,
sure, that'd be great. Okay. All
yeah.
right, sis. Well,
Oh,
thank
cool.
you.
All right, Doug. Good to
All
see
right.
you. Pajama Granny.
Yes. Pajama Granny and her Christmas jammies today.
Yes. And don't forget to check out her videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share them
Oh,
with others. Yeah. You look
thank
very
you.
festive.
Okay. All right. I'll see you
Okay.
soon.
Over and
Bye.
out.
All right. Okay. I ended it.
Okay, that was cool.
All right. I don't know how
That
long.
was cool. That went really well, I think.
Okay.
Off the cuff.
All
Yeah.
right.
Awesome.
So,
Stop recording. Are you sure you stopped recording?
yes.